Hello, hello.
How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for doing
That's
this.
yeah, no problem. That's such a cool setup you've got.
Oh, thank you. This is
I love I love the white speakers and like the vinyl player. That's such a vibe.
oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. How are you? You have a vinyl player back there too, I see.
Yeah, it's actually broken. It's really sad.
Oh,
So it's just there for like decoration right now, but
it looks
got to get
cool.
a new one. Thanks.
Right
That's
on.
good. That's all that matters.
Right, exactly. Who cares if
Yep.
we can play records or not? Anyway,
Mhm. Yep.
thank you so much, Kat, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem. I'm excited.
So our podcast is about your journey in music and how you got to where you are today.
Okay.
Cool. So,
Nice.
yeah. Whereabouts in the world are you right now?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Where's just south of
Mhm.
you then? We're in San Diego. Are you born
Oh,
and raised?
nice. No, I grew up in Wisconsin, actually.
Okay. Tell
Went
me
to
a little
college.
bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a town called Fitchburg, Wisconsin, which is just like, I don't know. There's not a whole lot going on there. It was a great place to grow up, very wholesome people. But I always kind of felt like I wanted to be in a big city. And
Hmm.
then I went to Berklee College of Music in
Wow.
Boston.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then after that, I moved to LA about 6 years ago, and I've been here ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. What was the first instrument you learned?
I learned piano at a very young age. I started at 5 years old,
Wow.
um, and then I quit when I was 11 because I hated it, and I never practiced. And yeah, it wasn't until I was 14 that I started writing songs on the piano, and then I kind of got reinterested in it and learned more about it just on my own. But I still haven't taken a lesson since I was 11.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
said
but it's good.
writing songs at 14 is when you kind of came back to the piano. What was there something that sparked your interest again, or what was the reason why you went back to playing?
Yeah. You know that song by Sarah Bareilles called Love Song? It was like her
Oh
first,
yeah, oh, that's a huge
yeah,
hit. Yeah.
huge song. That was like the first time that I realized you could write and sing pop music with a piano.
Oh,
'Cause,
interesting.
I was born in 92, so I grew up with the whole 90s pop scene.
Hmm.
And so what I viewed as pop stars were like Britney Spears and Sync, you know,
Hmm.
none
Sure.
of those acts played instruments on stage. And so Sarah Bareilles came out and I was like, wait, you can play an instrument and sing pop music? That's so cool. And so, I mean, obviously there were people before her like Carole
Sure.
King and Joni Mitchell and like all those people, but I just, I was so stuck in the 90s pop era, so that was
Hmm.
my first experience. So after that song, I was like, "Oh, I wanna do that too."
Okay. Do you
Yeah.
remember from there? Okay, so you 14, you start writing songs. What was the first songs you started writing? You remember those?
Yeah, they're so bad.
Everybody says that.
Yeah, they're so bad. I think, the first song I wrote, it was such a cheesy little song, it was called "In the Rain." And it was like I don't even really remember what it was about. Yeah, I couldn't even sing it for you right now, which is funny. I feel like most people can sing their first songs, but I don't know, I forgot it. I remember the title, but it was cheesy. That's all I remember about
That's funny.
it. Yeah.
When were did you get to play your songs out? Did you start a band? Like what happened next for you? Because 14, you're
Um,
probably in what, ninth grade or something?
yeah, I was a freshman in high school and I never did the whole band scene, but I was big on performing of course at all the talent shows and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And I started to have my own little gigs around town at like little coffee shops or something like that. I would just bring my keyboard and go sing for an hour at a coffee shop. And then, yeah, that's kind of really all I did in Wisconsin until I moved to Boston. That's when I started gigging and actually having like a backing band and doing bigger shows like that. But
Okay.
um, yeah,
Wow. Okay. So you said you did talent shows in high school and stuff. Like what
Hmm.
was that the first time you had played? Like, did you play your own songs, the talent show, or were you doing covers? And was that the first time you ever performed in front of people?
Yeah, I was performing my own songs.
Wow.
It wasn't the first time I performed, but it was yeah, it was the first time I performed like as a quote unquote artist for
Okay.
sure. I had done like little talent shows in middle school, but I would just do covers and stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, in high school talent shows, those were like the first time I was actually like sitting at a piano singing
Hmm.
words that I wrote. So that was cool.
Was
I
that kind of
remember
intimidating? Like, because you're in front of your whole school.
it was intimidating, but um, I hear these horror stories of people who had really hard times in high school performing their own music, and people thought they were weird. And
Mhm.
I feel like I was one of the lucky ones. Like my high school was pretty receptive to it, and everybody
Mhm.
was pretty excited about it. There wasn't really anybody else around who did that, and so I was kind of uh like a fish out of water, but in a weird way people accepted it and people liked it. So I always felt cheered on. I never really felt like a weirdo, which was I'm really thankful for that now because I know a lot of people who had very opposite
Right.
experiences. I don't know what it was about like my class in high school, but they were all great people.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
They really like they embrace what you're doing, not,
Yeah.
shunned you for it. That's cool.
Yeah.
And
Very
tell me,
thankful.
yeah, tell me about going to Berkeley. Like what did you go in to Berkeley as, and how did you get in there? I want to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I applied via songwriting. They have like a songwriting scholarship that you can apply for
Hmm.
when you're a freshman going into Berkeley, and I played my own songs at my audition and was super nervous, but I ended up getting in, and I got in on a songwriting scholarship, which was really cool. And that was the first time where I felt like, oh, I'm not the only one who does this, because in high school I was very much the
The
only
only
one.
one.
And then you go from, being one fish who does it into a big pond of fish where everybody does it.
Right,
And,
right.
everybody at Berkeley is like the music kid from their hometown.
Right. They're all
So
beyond talented.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's intimidating, but it was also like uh for me it was like seeing color for the first time. Like I was like, "Oh, like I'm one of them. Like I get it
Hmm.
now. Like I have my people. I understand like where I'm supposed to be." And it was a great experience because it just Berkeley is just an awesome place. I highly recommend it to everybody. If you can, it's an expensive place. I am still paying off those loans, and
Sure.
I had scholarships and stuff too, but it's just um, yeah, I feel like that place kind of changed my world, not necessarily because of the schooling, like the classes are great, but it's really the community that you get by going to a place like that. I moved
Mhm.
to LA with a built-in network already from going there. So it's definitely been a game changer for me having been there.
Mhm. And you said,
Yeah.
yeah, intimidating being around, you're around all these people that are very talented. Was it hard? Not
Yeah.
hard, but like, would it be intimidating playing around that area? Like you said, you started your first real gigging when you got to Berkeley, but I could
Yeah.
imagine playing in front of a bunch of people that know what's happening, and like, the
Oh
skill
yeah.
sets and everything. Was that kind of nerve wracking?
Oh yeah, it's a running joke to people who have gone to Berkeley. They're like, playing Berkeley shows is the worst thing ever because people know when you mess up. Like
Right.
it's not like they're ignorant to it, and they it's not, and they're not necessarily a tough crowd. They're definitely cheering you on and
Mhm.
excited about listening to music, but yeah, they know what's good and they know what's not. So
Right. Yeah, you're not
it's
playing out
definitely
to a handful of people at like a coffee shop or even a venue that they're just
yeah.
fans instead of, people that really know the technical aspect of everything that's happening.
Yeah, and they really understand like the chords that you're playing and how you wrote that melody, and they can really analyze it, and it's really it's yeah, it's a different kind of crowd to play for sure. But it's also just super inspiring because if you do well, then you're like, and people are excited about what you did, then you're like, oh, I really did well.
Oh yeah, it's
If I,
much
yeah,
more validating feeling doing it there and succeeding.
yeah, 100%, much more approval.
Right.
Uh,
That's cool.
mhm.
So, how did you get to LA?
Um, I had a manager at the time who had moved to LA about 6 months prior, and my boyfriend, who I'm still with, he has always been fascinated with LA. I was really fascinated with LA, but I didn't really have, it was kind of LA or New York, and I didn't really have anything tying me to either one.
Hmm.
So I was just like, you know what? LA sounds cool. It's good weather. My manager's there. My boyfriend wants to go. Let's go. Like it was
Hmm.
just kind of like, pick one.
Okay.
And I picked LA. And ironic, I mean, I didn't know it then, but it was 100% the right choice for me, especially because the pop music world has really shifted to the West
Okay.
Coast. So
Right. Hmm.
yeah, I'm very happy that I ended up here.
And you mentioned your manager moving to LA. How did you meet your manager? Did you meet your management at Berkeley?
Yeah, so he's still a great friend of mine. He went to a different college in Boston, uh, and he found me kind of playing around Boston, or actually, he found me from a YouTube video that I had posted back then, and we worked together for I think 4 years,
Hmm.
and then we decided after about a year and a half of being in LA, we decided to like professionally part ways just
Hmm.
because he had a whole lot of things that he wanted to do. I wanted to kind of revisit my artist project from a new lens and kind of step back and make sure I was doing what I wanted to do. And he's still somebody who I talk to regularly though.
Hmm.
He's been a great friend and great mentor, but yeah, it's been an interesting process going from being really young and having management to
Hmm.
then transitioning into really managing myself. And uh yeah, it's been cool. It's all a journey, I guess.
Sure. Like,
Yeah.
what about releasing music? Like, I'm just going off your Spotify right now. It looks like Just a Girl was a song that you released in 2018. Was that the first song you ever put out online of your own, or did you have other songs that aren't up there anymore?
Yeah, so I've actually been releasing music since I was 14, but I have cleaned cleaned it out
Okay.
as I've gone.
I
And I went
figured
through
as
this,
much.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I went through a period of time where I went by a different stage name.
Oh, okay.
Um, a whole other part of the journey is realizing kind of who you are as an artist,
Hmm.
and I don't know, owning that. I think for a while I thought that I had to put on a costume per se and have a stage name and try to abide by a certain look and a certain sound. And that's kind of when I wanted to take a step back and say, you know what, this isn't me. I want to release music as Cait. That's my name. Like I don't want to release music as this other name and other persona that I was kind of putting on for a few years. And so I kind of cleaned everything out and started fresh in 2018 when I released Just a Girl. Is just it's the No Doubt cover,
Yeah.
um,
So that
and that
was,
was kind of a fun one to set
and
the
that was
tone.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
that was just kind of like your change, your evolution into Kate, so to speak.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and you kicked it off with a cover. Was that planned that way, or you just,
Um,
or
Not
did you have other songs
necessarily.
recorded and you decided to go with the cover?
Yeah, we had some other songs recorded. I think we just kind of wanted to ease into it,
Hmm.
get people excited about it, and having a cover and and the video that went with the cover, it just felt like a good reintroduction, and saying, "Hey, get ready, I'm gonna release some music."
Yeah.
Instead of just coming right out of, it was like 2 or 3 years that I didn't release anything, so I wanted to kinda ease back into it with the cover, and I love that song, that's like an all-time favorite, so
Right.
yeah, it was a good one.
Very cool. And from there was Who you released Who and Stay Out in 2018 and Run Away for
Mhm.
Christmas. Were those all just singles and you haven't put out like a full EP yet, right?
No, but it's coming.
It's coming out. We'll get to
Yeah, yeah.
there.
I decided to just kind of I wanted to really find myself and make sure I was staying true to who I was, and so I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself to, make this big project, make an album, make an EP. I just wanted to write songs that I loved and put them out, and
Mhm.
just be really simple about it. And so that's what I did in 2018, and then a little bit into 2019 as well. And then the last 9 months or so, we've just been writing a lot of music, me and my
Mhm.
producer, Brian Phillips, who's been an amazing partner throughout this past few years. And now we have a whole bunch of new music that we're starting to release, and an EP will be out in 2021, probably
Very cool.
summertime. Yeah,
Right on. That's awesome.
excited. So
Well,
excited.
like the No Doubt cover and those earlier songs, were all those recorded and written in Los Angeles, or did you do those in Berkeley or
Yeah,
Boston?
those are all in Los Angeles. And a
Okay.
funny story about the Just a Girl cover is uh Glamour magazine actually like surprised. They do this YouTube thing where or a YouTube show where it's like You Sang My Song is the title of it.
Uh-huh.
And where they reach out to people who have done covers by famous people, and they get the actual artist to come in and react to the covers.
Whoa.
And how they structure it is they reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, we're doing a tribute video for Gwen Stefani. She's turning, I think she just turned 50 or something. She's turning 50, so we want to
Oh
like
my gosh, she's 50.
interview." I
I'm
know, right?
old.
I know. They were like, "We want to interview her biggest fans. We saw you did a cover, and we just want to ask you a few questions about Gwen Stefani." And I'm like, "Sure." And I get on Zoom with this producer, and she's like, "Actually, I want you to watch this video. Here's a link." And I click the link, and it's Gwen Stefani sitting at a laptop watching the cover of Just a Girl on YouTube and reacting to it and being like, "Wow, she did such a different interpretation. I never would have thought, blah, blah, blah." It was crazy. It
Oh
was like
my
the
gosh.
best day ever.
Yeah. That must have just been mind-blowing for you to see that.
Yeah, yeah, it
Oh
was
my
really
god.
cool.
That is so cool.
I know.
Wow.
It was fun.
Nice. And okay, and then so you had a video for that song. Did you put any videos out for did you have a video on each single that you put out or no?
Um, I try to do some kind of visual, whether it's a music video or a lyric video, or even if it's just like an Instagram kind of behind the scenes look of how I made things. So, Who
Mhm.
has a lyric video? Um, Stay Out, I just did like some cool Instagram stuff when that came out, Instagram behind the scenes. Runaway for Christmas has a music video. It's actually starring my dog.
Oh,
It's
really?
a
Oh, I
great one.
saw
You
on your
should check it
Instagram
out.
that you're
Yeah.
a dog mom. You're a dog mom.
Yeah, my followers are big fans of my dog.
That's cool.
She's hilarious. Yeah, and yeah, since then, and Skin came out 2019
Mhm.
in April, I think, and that was also another music video. And so with these music videos, another thing is I always create the visuals as well that go with my music. So
Mhm.
um, when
Yeah, because you're a
I've been
film
a
you like
videographer for.
yeah, you do videos and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I feel like it gets confusing because people are like, "Wait, you do what?" Like, "How many things do you do?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Um, when I moved to Los Angeles, I was super broke, needed a job, and I
Mhm.
ended up working as an assistant for this photographer. And she taught me everything about the camera, and I started making marketing videos for her portrait education company. It's an online company where you become a member, and you get access to all this education around portraits. And so I kind of transitioned from being her assistant to being the marketing content creator for her businesses.
Wow.
And from there, I started taking my own video clients, working with entrepreneurs and brands, creating their video marketing for them. And I've also worked with some other musician friends of mine doing their visuals as well. And now I kind of uh, have recently decided I'm not taking clients anymore, and I'm just doing my own visuals,
Yeah,
which
is
is
that what
exciting.
the social those packages you have together? Is that what
Yeah.
part of
So
it? Sorry, go ahead.
So when the pandemic hit, I realized that there were so many people who needed just short, engaging video content for their social media, whether they're a freelancer, a brand, a business, a musician, uh, anybody who needed something just beautiful to post on their
Uh-huh.
Instagram. And there's all these studies that show video is highly more engaging
Oh,
than
right.
photos. And so, yeah, I decided to package these. They're called the social motion packs, and they're curated collections of vertical video that are all very brand friendly. They're royalty free, so you can buy them and do with them what you want. You can promote your products. You can promote your latest single with them. There's so much you can do, and it's been very exciting to watch those kind of take off. And
Hmm.
I've been having fun with them too, and naming packs after songs,
Oh,
and
cool.
kind of integrating it with the music brand. And um, that's something that my followers definitely seem to appreciate, is uh, that I am both a visual artist and a singer-songwriter,
Hmm.
and I try to infuse the two as much as I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. And then you're donating some of the money from the motion packs. You want to
Yes.
tell us about that?
This month, well, when we started during the pandemic, we started with donating a percentage of all sales to Feeding America.
Hmm.
And we just decided that every month we would choose a different um, organization to donate
Oh,
some of the proceeds to. So this month it's actually NAACP.
okay.
And yeah, so that's kind of a nice thing, is that people know that they're giving back a little bit when they
Sure.
purchase them, which is super important to me. There's so much that needs to be done. So
Hmm.
the small, if I can donate a small amount of my proceeds, I'll do it. So
Yeah, that's really
yeah,
cool and thoughtful of you too. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah,
Um, let's tell me about this well, you have two new songs out, one that just came out, what, like a week
yeah,
ago or so.
yeah,
And then, so I want to hear a little bit about these songs.
yeah. So Stay In is a song that came out about a month and a half ago. That's a super fun one. It's just kind of about being a homebody with your partner and ditching your friends and staying home and watching Netflix, which is totally my life. And
Yeah.
it also kind of fit when, of course, when the pandemic hit and we all are forced to stay in.
Hmm.
Uh, Ironically, that song was written, I think it was January 2019 when we wrote it. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
been it's been around for a while. We tried to pitch it to other artists, and it didn't get that far. I mean, some were interested, but that whole game, there's so many people trying to pitch music to artists at all times. So, uh, but I didn't want it to just sit on a hard drive. I loved that song way too much, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to release it. And it kind of felt like the perfect timing to release a song called Stay In. So
Hmm. Sure.
I started with that one. Yeah. And that was really fun. And then Forgetful is the song that just came out last week,
Hmm.
which has been a favorite of mine for many months. I love that song. I
Hmm.
wrote it with a writer named Taylor Barrett and my producer Brian Phillips, who are very, very talented and amazing. And that one is, it all also kind of goes with the times in a way, because it's about being able to call somebody when you're overwhelmed, who takes you, out of your depths, who makes you forget about all of your stress. And that's something I know a thing or two about as well.
Sure.
So yeah, I
Well,
love that song.
yeah, I noticed with the new song "Forgetful" too. A lot less. It's a lot more stripped back than your other songs. I feel like with like
Yeah.
some like the other songs that have a lot more production to them. I feel like a little bit more like electronics going on there, whereas "Forgetful" is a lot
Hmm.
more like guitar driven, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
picking guitar in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
And you'll
yeah, I
find
feel
that,
like is that what like the vibe of the more recent songs is, or is it still kind of back in that pop world?
yeah, you'll find that the songs that are going to be coming out over the next year are definitely more singer-songwriter. They're much more either guitar based or piano based. Kind of going back to, what I love, like the Sarah Bareilles piano songs that first
Mm-hmm.
got me into writing. I kind of wanted to go back to that a little bit, and I'm loving how they're sounding. Both Stay In and Forgetful are guitar driven.
Mm-hmm.
And the next few songs, one is more piano based, and another one is guitar based. So yeah, that's what people can expect about the music coming, is much more stripped back, much more singer songwriter, and organic.
Very exciting. That's awesome. And have you been able to
Yeah.
play any of these songs for anybody? As far as I know, "Staying" and "Forgetful" just came out during the pandemic, obviously. But like, what about Instagram
Yeah.
Live? I've seen some of your videos on Instagram. Do you do the live streaming too?
Yeah, and I'm due for another one soon. I feel like people have been asking when I'm gonna do another live stream, so I'll probably do one next week or something. Because I know I played one show in February before everything got locked down,
Oh,
and I was so
you did
sad
get to
because
play.
I did get to play. I played these songs, and that was really fun. And I had two more shows scheduled that obviously got
Mm-hmm.
canceled, which was so sad. And I don't know when it's all gonna open up again, but yeah, for now it'll just be Instagram Lives and recording some live videos as well.
Cool. Do you enjoy the
Yeah.
Instagram lives, or is it not
They
as fun
they're
as?
funny. They're a little weird, right? Like, it's like, I know that I'm talking to people, and I can see the number, like, in the top right corner, but you're still kind of talking to yourself, or,
Right.
like, singing to yourself.
Yourself, and you're not getting
It's
like
a
the
little bit
clap or anything
strange.
like that at the end. You're just like,
Right. Exactly. I'm like, "Okay, the song's done now. What'd you guys
right.
think?" And there's also that, like, it's funny because there's a little bit of a delay as well. Like, when you finish a song, the like, 10 seconds will pass, and then people will do the
Oh,
hearts, and it's
you
like
wait for it. Oh,
it's like a little bit
yeah,
delayed. Yeah, I'm like, "All right, are you guys
that's
asleep?"
funny.
They're cool, but it's, yeah, nothing like the real
Sure,
thing for
very cool.
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully sooner than later. Everyone will be back out and
Mhm.
performing, and life is,
I know.
we know it will be back to normal. So we'll see.
I hope so. Can't wait.
Right? Yeah. Well, Cait, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I have one more question for you. I
Yeah.
want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Ooh, advice for aspiring artists. I would say treat your music like a business. I would say think of yourself as the CEO of your music company, because I think a lot of people get really caught up in uh, only the art has to be good. And if the art is great, then everything else will fall into place. And as much as I wish that was true, I do believe that there's so much value in being able to send cold emails, to reach out to people, to network, to be direct about what you want, and be confident in your music too. I think a lot of people just focus on writing the songs, and you should focus on creating the best art that you possibly can, 100%. But when the art is done, I think you should be able to shift a gear in your brain and be like, okay, how am I going to market this? How am I going to save the money that needs to be saved to make a music video, and how am I going to market that, and who do I need to reach out to make this happen, and X, Y, and Z, and start thinking strategically about it. Because I think that took me many years to realize that, nobody's going to care about your music more than you are. So you've got to just take it by the reins and run. So that would be my advice, is think of yourself like a CEO, and what would you do?
Bringing it backward.